calling to say I calling to say I
Heaven just knows what it wants. Will I go back to the place where I belong? Everyone could break my heart, but I try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. You'll be my pleasure. I got nothing to be scared of, because where people live, there is always love. I know the answers in my heart, so I'll try my best to not fall apart. And I found it hard to let go. The memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, to the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure? To let go. Memories keep me together. Gotta fight till the end, no pressure, no pressure. And I find it hard to say no to the ones who want something better, the ones who never say never. Will you be my pleasure?
Welcome to what is round 5 here at F1 100% F1, as we are going straight into this as we go for round 5 at Qatar. But this time it's a bit different, shall we say. It is actually raining by the looks of it. You will be able to see stuff right now, as hopefully game audio and everything should be synced. I am your commentator for tonight and pretty much all of the FRL 100% series. I am Aces, also known as Alex. I am a variety commentator and broadcaster here at FRL. As we're now approaching closer and closer to the halfway mark of this season, we've got obviously Qatar today, and then we've got one more round next week. As you can see, it is very, very wet here just by looking at it. Hopefully the bitrate isn't going to die with this. It should be high enough to complete stuff like this. I have to apologize from last week. I'll get straight into it. What happened last week and why the stream cut it short was it seemed I had some sort of Wi-Fi issue that actually completely broke my Ethernet. So I had to get all of that redone, and everything should be working now, and I've even got a Wi-Fi dongle in, so this should never happen unless something catastrophic happens, which hopefully it doesn't. But I am back here, and we are ready for this as we go straight on board now for one-shot qualifying on this very, very wet Qatar. So you can see, hopefully the stream is holding up. It should do. It looks like I am holding up very well on the stats page. Seems just a few drivers. It's very marginal right now. And this is what we do see in these qualifying sessions, as we've already seen Smicky Cabbage retiring from the session, the first one. As we can also see, it is a smaller grid here tonight of just 19 drivers. It seems a lot of people retiring from the session. That might be a strategy, though. It seems already a fifth of the grid has retired. Migrating host. Oh, that's not good. Seems, yeah, everyone has pretty much retired. That is probably more a strategic call than anything. Parked in a dangerous look. I'm not even going to ask what's happening between all of these boys, but I think this is... I'm not sure what's happening here. I'm going to quickly check the Discord. So I'm not sure what's happening, but it seems absolutely everyone is disqualified. This is not anything I've seen before. But it seems only 7 drivers are going to potentially qualify here. In fact, it might be less, as we do see it's actually gone down to 6 now, as this is an absolute mess. And you can see there's only 19 cars here tonight. Unfortunately, we are running quite a bit late, in fact about 20 minutes late, due to some issues with lobbies, as we do see... Oh, very good. Oh no, I was about to say very good save there from the AlphaTauri, but goes into the wall at very high speeds, going on to the final corner. I feel like that is going to be something that happens quite a bit during this race here tonight as he comes across the line. But it seems this is going to be an interesting race, to say the least. Not many people do this track, and if they do, it's not going to be as rainy as you ever see it like this. This is probably the most rain a Qatar race has ever seen. As you can see, there are some very, very big pedals here as we go see now the qualifying grid for tonight's race. So we can see only 3 people qualified in the end, and they are completely different postcodes in terms of the times, as we do see Alfie Hudson with a 1:38.083, followed then by Josh Rose in the 1:39.5, so a 1.4 second gap between them, and then a 1:41.7, which is a 3.7 second gap for Swinney to the leader. So this is interesting, to say the least. Hopefully there is some people in chat, because today I'm doing this solo, no jammy to keep me company today. So this is just fully me waffling for, well, hopefully not waffling. I should hopefully have some good racing. And I realise there probably is going to be a few safety cars during this race. I'm confused. No one's giving me information. What's happening, boys? What's happening? What's happening? I'll be honest. I've been giving no information on what's actually happening. So if anyone in chat can actually tell me what's happening, that would be absolutely great. So we are going to be running a tiny bit more late now due to some issues, I believe. I'm not sure what it is that's caused this, but at the moment I have not been receiving any sort of invite or anything on terms of that. But we will just see, and I'll just keep talking for the next, hopefully, however long I need to be talking for. But as regarding from last week, as I was saying, yes, I did encounter a bit of a Wi-Fi issue. That's the first time in the 7 or so months I've been doing commentary that I've actually suffered some sort of technical issue during a race. And I am extremely sorry about it. I did, unfortunately, get some interesting comments in the DMs for it. I'm not sure how necessary that all was, but it's all personal opinions at the end of the day, and it was still fun to be able to hang out with Jamie. Me and Jamie actually did a mini endurance race, you could say, on Thursday, and it went just as good, just as bad as we thought it would go. But yeah, it was interesting to say the least. It was really fun though. It's good to be back racing in ACC. But we are now in a new lobby here, but it seems now the weather has changed. The weather's now on a question mark, so it might not be a wet weather unless we haven't had any lobby updates yet regarding the weather. But we will have another one-shot qualifying, and this time we will hopefully have more cars on the grid as we have to wait for cars again. And whatever happens at this point. I am just a passenger in this. Do you see now a few more drivers joining? About 19. Oh, I need to quickly do that. About 19 or so drivers in the grid. It's just down to 17. This is going to be an interesting race if it actually does happen at this rate, because we're 24 minutes late, but that's okay because I've got nothing better to do. So whatever happens. I'm just here for the ride. Obviously, respect the admins in this situation because it's something that does happen. It doesn't happen very frequently, obviously. It's just something that you're just going to have to be patient with. Obviously, respect the admins. They're doing an awesome job running this league and obviously this entire server as well, because there is a good few people on the SimGrid page now. Obviously, remember to subscribe and like because we're getting closer to, I believe, this 2,000 subscriber mark. So that is always another accomplishment that is to come with the Formula Racing League, and potentially we could hit it this year with some of the bigger races that are going to appear in the ACC side of this as well. Obviously, we do see the endurance calendar bringing Norge for Life up. I think it's in June. I might be wrong with that. It's either June, July. But also, I will be doing the Pro-Am Thursdays on, Pro-Am Thursday GT3 Championship that is starting mid-April. So if you're an ACC user, get yourself signed up for that. That is PC only, just to be precise. But obviously, there is a few other leagues that are starting to pop up again. We do see, I think it's the BTCC rFactor 2 Season 5 League starting up soon on the rFactor 2 side of stuff. So that's another thing to be excited for. And then we've got, I believe, a new sprint series as well. So it's coming to, well, I think we definitely have one past the, what's it called? We're at the end of the season for ACT for now, but we do start back up as the timer now comes on to hopefully do this race for the actual time this time. As we do see there is about 20 drivers on the grid. Not sure if that's including me as a spectator or not. And hopefully we can do this now 27 minutes in. So we get ready and we will switch on to get what's happened now. Never mind, that countdown's not worked, and just wait here for a couple more minutes. In fact, I will just put you on the starting soon screen for my voice.
One time
we are now back after that, what seemed to be 30 seconds break. That's very badly timed of me. So you see everyone is now ready to go, hopefully, for the real time, as we see the weather's actually changed since the last server we saw. So we'll have to see what's happened here. Obviously, we do go on to this one-shot qualifying format, as we do see. And now it's time to see what the weather's actually going to be like. Is it going to be a dry circuit, a wet circuit, or is it going to be in the middle? And this is what I don't actually know yet, because obviously we had the server change. I'm not sure if the admins have changed the weather. Jackie Gabbana saying good luck, have fun, I presume. Good luck to you as well if you are racing. I'm not sure of the grid tonight, because I feel like a lot of people have backed out. So a lot of the reserves have kicked in as well. But we are still about one or so drivers short, unfortunately. But it seems to be a dry circuit, which is not going to be very good for a few people, because everyone's going to be preparing for a wet circuit. So they've definitely done wet setup changes as we wait for one-shot qualifying to start. Sim Racing Academy, Crossfire is not in the race tonight, I don't think. I have a feeling he retired last race. I'm not sure if he's in this race tonight. We'll check in a minute, but I don't think he is. Is actually, yeah, no, Crossfire is not in the race. So we now go on for one-shot qualifying, as it is changing quite rapidly. Everyone just getting the best start with each other, going into the first corner now. This is a track I don't know too well as an ACC commentator, but we do see It's Chocolate is seeming to be claiming for the McLaren, who is actually not the replacement for Crossfire. That would be It's Chocolate, who's unfortunately down in P19 now. So two completely parts of the order for the McLaren team here, as we do see Reed Smithy, as we already see our first invalidation of this race now. Sim Racing Academy calling Crossfire loser. Oh, that's awkward. William Talbot in the pit, so one person already retiring from the qualifying session, almost in a way, as we do see it's very close now between the Aston Martins and the Williams of JR, Nick F1, Brandt and Alfie Hudson, all probably within a tenth of each other. In fact, we see a few people in medium tyres here for qualifying. That is not ideal, to say the least, if that's purposeful. I'm not too sure, as we already see two retirements from the session for this one-shot qualifying. That is probably for going wide and invalidating your lap time, as we already see the fastest lap time here of a 121.4. This is more like what we'd see as dry times instead of these wet times. We saw as a lot of drivers actually retiring from the session now, as we see JL Nick F1 in that Williams taking first place here in the Williams. Obviously, it's equal performance cars. That's why we do see some of the lower budget teams like Williams up in the front, as it's very close there between P1 and P2 of the South African of JL Nick F1 taking a 121.4, followed by the Brit of the Aston Martin of Alfie Hudson doing a 121.5, just under the 10th there, 9,000 for the second, you could say. Followed then by still OG, the Brit driving the Ferrari with a 127.7, which is just a quarter off the lead time. We do get ready now. It doesn't seem a lot of people qualified. That's something we do see. Wise found out in F1. Obviously, if you guys don't know that I'm actually an ACC commentator and racer, I didn't do any sort of F1 related work until the start of this season, so this is all completely new to me. I am definitely getting a little bit better with it all now, and hopefully this is something that I continue to do more. But this is why I'm not very known in the F1 community compared to what I am in the ACC. So we now just wait for the players to ready up to go on for the races. I believe there's a button I can click, I'm not sure which one it is, to show everyone's tyre options, but we will be able to see that on the grid anyway, and I'm not trying to lose the start yet. because it doesn't give you much of a warning. Obviously, there is no formation lap here. That does cut us a few minutes shorter than it would have. But usually a formation lap is probably the better idea because it gives everyone a bit of a chance to get their tyres warmed up, even though there's the tyre blankets, but also just get a feel for the track condition as we are on the dry track for now. If that's going to be the thing as we go 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights yet, and we are now, we're not green yet, we're going green now as we go green here for round 5 of the FRL 100% championship, as we do see the Williams gets a good start, but it seems the Aston Martin trying to go on the inside line through turn 1. It's not going to work. The Williams goes straight up into the lead. However, we do see a bit of a side-by-side between the Ferrari and the Aston Martin here, as we already see a caution going into the first few corners. Not seeing anyone. There is a few cars going wide there, unfortunately, but going further and further down the grid now, we do see there is about a 3 wide happening back there. It does seem it's a bit of a dodgy ping though, unfortunately, but it is the Red Bull, the AlphaTauri, and the Haas all battling at it once again to try get further and further up in the order, to try to take P13 away from Tyrant King. As we can see the race strategy here, it's potentially a 2-stop, maybe a 3-stop, depending on how many safety cars we see during this race. Hopefully we see a few, because it definitely makes it more interesting with a safety car. We do see though all of these cars are getting very, very bunched up still, but unfortunately the McLaren of what seems to be Jackie Gabbana down in P16, quite far down, but there is quite a big difference there in time already. Mainly a few people getting caught up in a bit of an accident. However, we do see the Williams trying to pull a bit of a gap here on Alfie, as we don't see DRS this lap. We will see it going into lap 2. Something that has changed in the I'm not sure when it changed instead of the 3rd lap rule, but we will see DRS enabled this lap, I believe. Goes side by side here going into the straight, as he already gets it done just before using probably all of his batteries. We can see he had used about maybe a quarter of his battery, just a bit more to get past the Williams. Is it the call to do it this early into the race here? So we already see a few drivers have lost quite a few positions by that means of the Alfa Romeo and the Williams there down in P18 and 19. Probably something to do with a crash, same with Jackie Gabbana, and a few drivers have been a very good winner here, such as Finn in the other Alfa Romeo with 12 positions gained, as it's actually changed a bit here when going with the possible race strategies here. Seems Nick F1's on those hard tyres, which is definitely what's causing him to lose a bit of pace here. Is that the strategy though? Are we going to see a few well, let's say safety cars, but at the moment it seems everyone's already split quite a bit, which is not going to cause any safety cars, and it's actually going to be a more safer route for these drivers. But I feel like safety cars, even though not a lot of people like them, makes a lot of benefit when it comes to streaming a race, because it makes it a bit more action-packed, even though we do lose about 3 laps or so of racing time for the track to bunch up together. We do now see though the Haas is starting to try and get the slipstream on that Red Bull further down in what I believe is P13. Yeah, it is P13 as we go on board with him here. The DRS will be enabled this lap, I believe, but we don't see it yet either, so I'm not sure. Yeah, DRS enabled now on the 3rd lap, going into the first corner now on board with the Red Bull. Currently down at P13, Josh Rose, a person who was in the championship contendant with Crossfire, unfortunately retiring from the season from what I know, as we see a few cars going very, very wide there. In fact, one car actually not being able to survive there, as it seems, I'm not sure who it was. It's still yellow, but it seems we have gone green again now, as we do see Alfie starting to create a bit of a gap for himself between him and the Williams. Specky Kimmich in that Alpine as well, just behind him. It's also going to be something that causes quite a big aspect into this race, in seeing if Alfie Hudson can actually gain quite a bit of time. Obviously, this is where the closer racing starts to happen because of this DRS. Lap 3 into this race now. Everyone might have to pit, not during a safety car, because it seems this might be a race where we don't see many safety cars now, because it seems already quite a sparse grid. If that's a good thing, that will be a good thing for the drivers, but for the commentary, maybe not. Down on P11 now, Josh Rose trying to make moves. Made a move past his teammate there, Don Fotherington in P12. This is where the grid is a tiny bit packed up still, as we do see our first track cut penalty, 3-second penalty for currently in what is, I can't see him on the grid, STLR currently in P6 with a 3-second penalty, the first one of the race, and probably plenty more as we see the Red Bull go for a bit of a move there on the hat. He is going to get the move done now, and it's actually going to be a Red Bull sandwich there we see, as we do see the first Red Bull gets past of Josh Rose. Can Don Fotherington do the same thing as we go on board of him now? He is going to lose a tiny bit of time going into the sector 2. But we do see Haas goes very, very wide there. That's going to be that's another risk of getting closer and closer to that penalty that we do see a lot of drivers getting nowadays. Haas now under a lot of pressure here from the Red Bull of Don Fotherington, trying to get past him as quickly as possible and potentially battle with his teammate again. We do see the DRS is going to be a key factor for this overtake, but we also do see the Ferrari and the McLaren behind him as well, as we see our 3-second penalty for the race. As we do see this DRS is helping this Red Bull to go side by side here. It does seem he just goes out very wide. They're almost losing his front wing there from the Haas. They go side by side going into turn 1. It's not going to be enough just yet. He has the inside line going into turn 3 though. The Haas stays side by side though, but he gains his position and defends it very well there. As the ping seems to be doing a bit of a pingy thing, it seems, just slingshot on the drivers a tiny bit. That's going to be, I'm not sure how unpredictable. You can see it in the actual cars itself, but on stream it seems to be quite noticeable. It's the Red Bull now all over the back of the Haas again, putting a lot of pressure on him to try get P11 from Tyrone King. Goes wide there, the Haas, but it's not going to be wide enough to actually cause any sort of issue yet. He is going to get closer once again to that penalty that we do see. And it's quite a harsh penalty as well. Maybe not as harsh as what we see in ACC. What we don't see just yet is if there is actually going to be any danger in this race at the moment. I'm not sure if we will, but that's one thing that we'll have to see with this. Red Bull still all over the back of him going into turn 1 now. However, we do see this as well. GR Nick F1 probably not making his mistake, actually nearly spinning it there, losing his position to Specky Cabbage in the Alpine. Trying to get closer to get this move back done and some sort of retaliation to get P2 and potentially P1 back. Do you know? See, there is a tiny bit of a battle starting for the lead of this race here. We see Specky Cabbage all over the back of Alfie Hudson in the Aston Martin. Can he get this slipstream and the DRS going on to the next straight applicable with DRS, which seems to be this straight here? He gets a better exit there, Alfie Hudson, but is that going to affect Specky Cabbage at all in the Alpine? He gets the DRS, he goes side by side with him. He might get a clean run just before turn 1. Yes, he does. We go back on TV cameras. We also see Nick F1 getting very close as well with that slipstream. It seems he's doing quite a good job to keep up with the guys on the soft tyres while he's on those hard tyres there. Going down P12 though, we can see a bit of rowdy battle here. Once again, it does seem Red Bull of Don Fotherington does get by Tyrant King after what seemed to be 7 laps of him trying of trial and error for him. But we do also see Jackie Gabana, the replacement driver for McLaren at the moment, taking Crossfire's place, trying to get closer and closer. He is on those medium tyres, which will help him further into this race, when the soft tyres does die off a bit. but it's not going to help him out at all just yet. And that's the same what's going to be for GR Nick F1, who I'm actually he has used a lot of his ERS so far. His competitors, though, have also done the same, especially Alfie Hudson using 25%. However, we have just seen Specky Cabbage get by quite quickly there, and he has used less ERS than Alfie Hudson, so that is just something on pure pace. He won't have the DRS here, however, we do see Alfie Hudson who will. So this is where we will see him catch up again and try and retaliate to get his pole position provisionally back. He is going to just hang back, though, for the time being and wait. 49 laps left to go. Still a long race left to go for this. The AlphaTauri now, Finn getting closer there to the, well, not the Alfa Romeo, getting closer to the AlphaTauri there. All over the back of him now, as we see the AlphaTauri gets a tiny bit wide. They're going into turn 5. Stirl OG getting another 3-second time penalty. Starting to accumulate them now after just going wide on a few corners. As well as another cut as well of FRO Mean Moody. It is now actually the closest battle on track is once again Jackie Gabbana trying to get closer and closer to try and overtake Tyrant King, who he has actually just done, as it seems Tyrant King loses a bit of pressure there and he goes into P12. Tyrant King down into P13 after going wide there, going on to one of the final corners there. Not going to be a very happy Tyrant King, but he does have the DRS now, so he's actually going to try and retaliate going into turn 1. He takes the inside line. Is it going to work? Yes, it is. Is there going to be any sort of retaliation? Sort of. By the McLaren, he will have the inside line going into turn 2. It is going to help him out quite a bit there. It's actually going to be a bit of wheel rubbing between both of them. And Tyrant King takes his position back. He will have that DRS. So once again, going into the next DRS applicable straight. Gets.
No, Al. Final question.
Sorry, I am back after what just happened. It does seem we have a caution there going into sector 2. Not sure who's caused that, if that is going to be a safety car or not. There's something we'll have to find out. Seems he has actually got the car back up and running. I think that was Josh Rhodes, unfortunately, down in 15. Does he have any sort of damage? I can't see it on his front wing at all. So I think he might have got away with it after going down into P15, where he was into about P6, I believe, battling the AlphaTauri, Tyrant King, Don Fotherington, and another driver getting more 3-second time penalties. It seems to be the same people at the moment getting these penalties. Bit of side-by-side action there between this McLaren and this Haas going in to, I think, turn 3, turn 2 there. It does stay ahead though of the Haas, but this is getting very, very close between these two drivers. So do you see they go side by side? McLaren has the inside line. He gets the move done, it seems, very, very provisionally though, as we see there's a bit of retaliation here from the Haas, and we also see the Red Bull as well trying to get a move done. He actually goes side by side with him, causes him to spin out there, and that's going to be him in the wall there. Why is the McLaren in the wall as well though? Not sure what's happened there, but he goes into the wall. Unfortunately, both cars getting a bit loose there, and that has caused two cars off track, and that's going to kill their tyres a bit more, as we see pretty much every car is on lap 10 with their tyres. Soft tyres are going to start feeling the age of their tyres very soon. However, the hard tyres of Nick F1 might be the strategy this race, as we don't see any sort of safety cars just yet, as he is actually once again battling with the Alpine. He gets the slipstream, he goes side by side, he's going to get the move done pretty quickly before the end of the straight, which is also going to cause, this maybe not a good thing, but he gets 2 overtakes done in one straight. He goes up into the lead provisionally very, very suddenly, and he does lose it just slightly. He does lunge it going for the outside line turn 2. It's not going to work, but he has the inside line going into turn 3, a very, very, not even a corner you could say, and turn 4 though. He is staying with it. He actually causes him a door rub there, and that causes the Aston Martin to actually spin out there. Not sure what happened there. He is back up and running now. That's quite unfortunate there for Alfie Hudson going down into P7 now. But we do see Nick F1 stays in his place currently in P1. That is going to be something the students will probably look at later, depending on who's at fault for it. He's got quite a bit of breathing room now compared to him and P2 now, as he now gives himself a 3-second time penalty for that. So I regret saying anything. That could actually be what is between the win and not the win. Actually, it's quite close between them both, but it's also not that close, because it's 5 tenths. 5 tenths is quite a lot in F1, but it's not enough to break the DRS boundary, which is a second. Gets a bit loose there, which is going to cause Finn to actually have the DRS once again and be a lot closer than he would have been going into the start-finish straight. They do go side by side. It's just a very, very swish and clean overtake there by the Alfa Romeo of Finn, going up into the lead, already creating about a 3-tenth gap for himself. But that's going to be very provisional for now. But we do see Specky Cabbage as well in the background. If you saw on the straight, that could also be a bit of pressure here for the Williams to keep it in the right track here. But we do see another 3-second time penalty given to Tyrant King. I believe Tyrant King going into the pits. The first person to go into the pits for this race. Obviously, 2 compounded tyres is needed for this race. It would either be, let's say, softs, hard, soft, mediums, hard, soft, etc., etc. So Nick F1 can't go the entire race on those hard tyres. I hope most of you know that, because F1 is F1, and that is what the F1 rules are. Tarkin going on the medium tyres now for his first stop. That's probably a good strategy, as we do see now all of the soft tyres will start to gradually fall off over the next probably 8 to 10 laps, you could say. We'll see most people actually pit before that, but it's actually going to be quite a good strategy actually from Tyrant King if he can get it pulled off, as we do see a Mercedes of William Talbot currently a lap down. Not sure what he got a lap down for. I believe it's for that incident on, I think it was lap 1 or 2, where there's quite a long period of a yellow flag that's unfortunately caused him to go down. I believe he might have had damage to his front wing as well, which causes the more and more time between him and P19 for about 17 seconds, it seems. 18 seconds. So yeah, it's quite a big gap. He has to try and get back, but William Talbot definitely a more confident driver to do it, as Rouge Smithy though getting 3-second time penalty as well. So most of the grid now getting this unfortunate 3-second time penalty that will be served in the pit lane. So we will start seeing them go. Anyone else to commentate on? Yes, there is. It seems Don Fotherington trying to get closer and closer now to the Ferrari there. Both on different tyre strategies here, softs and the mediums. Softs will still be in the advantage for the next few laps until there is a fall off, and that's what's going to cause the Ferrari to probably stay ahead if Don Fotherington can't get past just yet. He will have the DRS. I'm not sure how effective the DRS will be just yet, but we do see the Red Bull still has, well, the Red Bull of Don Fotherington still has about 46% ERS as we go into the final, or the start-finish straight here, as he will have the DRS and he probably use some of his ERS deployed to try get closer and closer to P7 or potentially battle him before it. The tyre performance is still in favour though of Jackie Gabbana, as it does seem Don Fotherington's tyres are about 44% on the fronts compared to what we saw as Stroll OG, who had about 30 of an average to 36%. So there's still an advantage here for OG now, who has obviously those medium tyres, so there's going to be less and less wear compared to those soft tyres over a gradual period of time. He gets close. It's not going to be close enough, but it's going to be close. He is probably going to try attack this lap. He isn't using any ERS just yet. Probably trying to harvest it for when he can actually attack, because at this time it's probably not the best part to attack. He is using a tiny bit of his ERS, it's not a lot though, so I don't blame him there. As we do see how much it seems though, Ferrari though is using quite a bit more ERS compared to Don Fotherington, with about 35% left. I also just want to apologise if my voice starts going like it kind of is now. I've been on commentary for quite a while today, so my voice is starting to feel it, to say the least. Brown though getting closer to Specky Cabbage, who was in the lead of this race momentarily. We do see him down in P3, potentially going into P4 if Brand can make a move as quickly and efficiently as he can. As we do see there is a caution here for Sector 1 and Sector 2. It seems people are going wide left, right and centre. It's kind of difficult to crash here, to say the least, as it's quite far from any walls. A lot of runoff area, so we probably won't see a safety car during this race. I might jinx it, but I kind of want to jinx it, as we do see Josh Rose getting a 124.870 with the fastest lap on those medium tyres for the Red Bull. So we are starting to make a redemption arc, to say the least. Trying to get further and further up the places after his unfortunate little spin he had earlier, which caused him to go down into P15. Got the DRS, it's not going to work for him. He's too far back in my opinion. He might be able to get closer and try to attack. He does go for the inside line like he's going to be able to attack. He's still too far off to try think of it. Rose again getting a 120.836, so he's starting to decrease his time as he goes up into P14 there. But we do see going into P10 is getting closer there to Stroll OG again. Not having much of a break here, just having to attack his partner in crime of Jackie Gabbana. Now having to manage with Chocolate, the other McLaren here. going into Sector 3. As it seems Tyrant King has retired from the session, which is going to cause a safety car. I'm not sure what's happened there, but we do see... I can't spectate him, so it's going to be a severe collision with Ruji Smith to Branch there. So this is what we're going to see. This is what I love to see during races here. It does seem though Finn is still going straight at it, as the safety car hasn't been fully deployed yet, but this is what we'll see. It's probably going to be there. We can see it in the background there. This is where we'll start to see some more interesting racing happening. Probably a quarter of a way through this race now, as we do see Finn now slow down. So we also see Ruji Smith retiring from the session as well, which is probably going to cause a double safety car. I'm not sure if that's something to do with just retiring from the session or a crash. I'm not sure how Tyrant King actually crashed, but however he did it, it's kind of impressive. My voice is starting to feel it, to say the least, as we now wait for everyone to catch up with the safety car. This is the longest period of the safety car because of we've been green for about 18 laps. And obviously this is a track where a lot of people were bracing for wet weather originally, because that's what it was planned to be. But it's now pretty much the driest track you can see, which is more like Qatar. So it's definitely thrown a spanner into the works, to say the least. And that's why a lot of people are at different paces here. So because a few people probably have never raced Qatar, and a few people have. This is where we'll also see the safety car providing pit stop opportunities for quite a few drivers, as we can see P8 to about P13 have pitted this lap. We do see as well a few others pitting this lap as well. Pretty much everyone has as well. J Hugh pitted 4 laps ago, and it seems the top 3 are staying out this lap, or are they going to go in for the next lap? It seems Finn's going to go into the... all 3 of them are actually going to go into the pits to change tyres. Nick F1 as well, so that's going to change them in the lead a tiny bit, but it's still fine because they are still going to be with it for the race start now. Brand taking the lead of this race for now. I'm going to say another 2 or 3 laps in safety car conditions before we go green again. So this is where we'll start to see the opportunity of a lot of these drivers actually just taking this advantage to maybe just let their AI drive go to the toilet or something, which I think is a very, very big luxury for the F1 games, having these AI driving systems by clicking the escape bar, or if you're on PS or Xbox using the menu button. That's something you don't get in ACC, which I do like, but I also don't like, because you can drive the entire race with your AI, even though it is a slower than your actual pace. It still defeats the object, should we say, of racing. Everyone seems to be bunched up together now. We do see it seems the 2 drivers that are probably going to be most thankful for this is the Alpha Tauri and the Mercedes. William Talbot and Moon Moody both going to be quite thankful for this, because they were very far back. As you can see, about 42 seconds to say the least, as they try to catch up as quickly as they can before the end of the safety car period. I must say, I am ready for bed. So I am doing this race at the best of my possibility, well, the best of my potential, and then I'm gonna absolutely hit the haze and do whatever I'm gonna do tomorrow. Obviously, I hope everyone has had a good weekend so far. It's only Saturday, so there's still tomorrow as well. As I must say though, there is a few drivers that is surprising me with paces. We do see this is the final lap at the safety car, as we do see the safety car is speeding, but we do see they are still too far back to even think about. Actually, apart from William Talbot is back in the game, so we do see now the Aston Martin goes from any time from now. We will see him go, as we do want, you probably want to try and catch P2 and the other cars off guard as much as they can as he goes from any time from now. So we do see him just creeping closer and closer towards that start-finish line as he gets ready to go. He could have went from any time from now, but he's leaving it to the last second. Might not be the best idea, trying to catch everyone off guard, but they can go from any time from now. As we do see Brand has went now, which has caused the fuel to fluctuate a tiny bit. There is a 4 wide already, 5 wide, as we do see there is the AlphaTauri in the background. No, the Alfa Romeo. I keep getting those mixed up, I apologise. But Moody again, a 3-second time penalty, but it seems Brand has used that to his advantage, and he has now got about an 8-second, not an 8-second, an 8/10 gap between him and Kevin in the AlphaTauri. So that's good to see, actually, for him. We don't see DRS this lap. We might see it like this lap as we see a huge stack up there of cars, about 3 cars. It seems that is going to be quite a damaged Ferrari. It doesn't seem there is much. That AlphaTauri also hitting the wall, but it seems the wings have actually stayed intact, which is, I'm just as surprised as probably some of you guys are. But we do see Brands are ready. Is he using a lot of his ERS? No, he is not. He has got 92% ERS, but he's got a 1.6 second gap here compared to what we do see. No one's actually using our ERS that much, apart from Alfie Hudson, who's trying to use it to get past the AlphaTauri of Kevin as quickly as he can. It's 7th though, it seems. We do see a bit of a stack up of cars. This is what we expect going on with safety car conditions. It seems McLaren versus McLaren, there is no DRS, it's just slipstream and ERS to help you assist going past drivers. Is the best opportunity to probably use it, as a lot of other drivers will probably use it as well. You want to drain it as much as you can and then probably harvest it towards the end of the race if you needed it. He isn't catching to his fellow McLaren teammate. In fact, he is losing a bit of time, and he has a bit of pressure from Specky Cabbage in the Alpine behind him. Specky Cabbage in the Alpine, Nick F1 and Josh Rose should be higher up, but they did pit, as we saw earlier. As we do see another retirement from the session. Is that going to be another safety car, do we reckon? I am actually not sure just yet. It's still a caution, and I'm not sure it will be a safety car, but FRL Swinney now out of this session, DNFing. I'm not sure if that was an optional thing, if he volunteered to retire, or if it is something to do mechanically, or if he's on the wall here. There is still a sector 1 yellow flag. There is no sort of safety car just yet, so I assume we're going to be racing green for now as we see this stack of cars. As this yellow flag is actually quite a long yellow flag now, but we do see the Alpine all over the back of him now. This is where we do see the ERS will be, not the ERS, the ERS will be deployed, but the DRS will be available this lap, I believe. As we do see race control saying DRS is enabled now. All over the back of him. It's not going to be enough though to be able to get by. As we also see Josh Rose, a very, very strong driver, trying to go side by side of him. Now, as we can see Josh Rose trying to stick his nose up the inside there of turn 4. It's not going to work. He's going to have to stay behind and just wait patiently for the DRS game. So we also see the Williams of Nick F1 and Gandis as well in the other Mercedes, trying to gain any position at any point possible. Drivers starting to get closer and closer with each other. We do see Specky Cabbage put a bit of pressure there on the hat of Jay Hartnell. Now going side by side, they will both have DRS, but it seems the DRS is going to be in favour of Specky Cabbage in the Alpine. Not by much though. They both have that DRS obviously, so it's all down to the later braking, which it seems the Alpine does do, which puts him up in the position. There's going to be a bit of retaliation now from Jay Hartnell in that Haas, but we do see now This is where it's going to be the problem here for Sweki Cabbage. He's got quite a big gap here in front of him, about 7 tenths. He wants to try and close out as quickly as he can. It seems he is doing that pretty well, as Josh Rose has actually been able to get past as well for P7, as we also see the McLaren's also going to go side by side. Jay Hartnell losing positions left, right and centre here. Also, it seems Nick F1 might be able to try go for a move as well. So this is all, again, a bit interesting now between all of this, as we do see there is another caution going into Sector 1. Not sure if there's anything to do with a crash. Not sure it is. Now in Sector 2. So we are getting closer and closer to the halfway mark of this race now. The McLaren is starting to get himself in a bit of a break zone, to say the least. All over the back now of the McLaren, or not of the McLaren, or of the Red Bull of Joshua. Is that going to be a safety car? Now there's a caution in Sector 3 because of the Ferrari still OG retiring from the session. I have a feeling it might have been a personal decision to retire and not a crash. I hope. It does seem he's still got, I think he retired in the pit, so he his AI has to go out on track and like pull over, something like that, which I assume that's why we're seeing this long yellow flag here. But it does seem these four drivers are very close with each other. There is no safety car, so we've got to continue racing here for the final half of this race. So these four cars are getting quite close with each other to try and go for a move here. Everyone's going to have the DRS on each other, apart from Kevin in the AlphaTauri, so that's going to lose him so many positions here, potentially even 4 positions, as we do see it's going to be 3 wide going into turn 1. Does seem Josh Rhodes might lose his position to It's Chocolate. Yes, he is. Chocolate gets the move done on the inside very swiftly and goes up 2 positions there. There's going to be retaliation though from Josh Rhodes. He go back up into P6 momentarily, leaving pretty much little to no room there, giving him the racing room. Going side by side still. It's a drag race for the pace. It seems the McLaren back up into P6. It's going to be again retaliation here from Josh Rose. If he retaliates too much, he could lose a position, as we see here, to the Williams, as he has done now. And these 2 cars are battling at it once again. And it seems the Williams is going to try go for the move on the outside. It isn't going to work for him just yet. He goes back and just tucks himself behind for the time being. Very good racing here from these 2. He isn't going to have as much. He is using his ERS not too much, so he's probably trying to be smart with it as he goes on to the final few corners here to try get the DRS. He wants to stay as close as he can to even try retaliate once again to try get P7. But we also see he will have the DRS from It's Chocolate as well in the McLaren, so it's quite a fair advantage here. They're all on the same tyre compound, apart from Josh Rose. He is on the soft compound of tyres, which is going to give him probably the bigger advantage. But we do see, fortunately, Chocolate losing 2 positions there because of the ERS and DRS deployment, as it does seem it's going to go side by side. Nick F1 not getting much room there, as he actually has a bit of an oversteer moment on the curb, and that has left him out of this fight for the time being. He is still in the DRS zone now, as he saves his car going into turn 2. Further down now as well, we do see a few of these cars getting rowdy again. Gandis, after the multiple amount of battling we saw from Chocolate and Nick F1, has caused Gandis to actually get closer and closer than ever to these 3 drivers in front of him and try to take the move on these 3 drivers. But it seems Josh Rose is starting to create a bit of a gap for himself. Now as we do see Moon Moon again, unfortunately another 3-second time penalty for himself. It does seem Chocolate's doing quite a good job at the moment if he is managing his ERS as well. No, he is not. He is using all of his ERS to try and get away from Nick F1. As we do see, that might not be the case here. Josh Rose still on 41%, but we also do see Nick F1 on 46% or so. He is going to have the DRS and he's going to use his overtake as well. Not too much of it, as we did see it on just for a tiny bit going on to the exit of the corners. He isn't gaining any time, but however, Chocolate is gaining quite a bit here on Josh Rose. It's not going to be enough though going through the first few corners now of sector 1. Going further up as well though, Alfie Hudson currently in P3, getting closer to Chocolate's teammate of Jackie Gabbana, who's currently in second place for McLaren. Bran has made such a clear gap for himself for now of 6.2, 6.3 seconds. He probably is still harvesting his DRS and not his ERS, sorry. He's still using a bit of it to try and maintain his 6.3 gap. He does have it. We do see he might encounter a bit of traffic now, which could play another factor into this race depending on how selfless the traffic is, or selfish how this traffic is. Starting to lose a tiny bit of time here now. Alfie Hudson still on the 30% ERS, and we do see Jackie Gabbana only has 6%, so they are quite a marginal difference between them both, about 20% or so, roughly. So there's definitely an advantage here for Alfie Hudson. He also has the DRS here going on to the start-finish straight. He gains a lot of time here. Is he going to get the move done before the end of the straight? No, he lifts and coasts here, probably trying to play it safe, which I do respect quite hardly here, as we do see there's another big battle here happening between these two, as it seems Nick F1's under a lot of pressure from the other McLaren's teammate of Chocolate. Once again, Chocolate still having 27% of his ERS still available, and we do see Nick F1 still has 22%, so there's still a tiny bit of favour in ERS in Chocolate's defence as he goes a bit loose on the curb, but he gains a bit of time now on Chocolate. But he has also got the advantage as well of having the strong slipstream of Josh Rose as well, and the DRS, which is going to help him not lose his position to Chocolate as easy as he would, as Chocolate gets a 3-second time penalty. That's another thing we need to take into consideration here, is the time penalty. As I tried to show, this is the current penalty situation done going from top to bottom. It does seem Bran has about 5 seconds, same with Jackie Gabbana with 3, followed by Don Fotherington with a whopping 15-second time penalty, followed by Specky Cabbage with 6 seconds, Josh Rose with 5, Nick F1 with 3, Chocolate with 3, Jay Hartle just from now getting a 3-second time penalty, and then 1980s World just getting a 15-second time penalty in total, followed then by Mill SP 2002 with 9 seconds, followed by Mean Moody last but not least. But there is a battle going on with 17 seconds. These two cars have been going at it. Seems Gandis goes up and forces his way through again the inside line going into turn 1 to take P8 provisionally. This is all because Chocolate isn't using his DRS as much. I don't think his ERS is... No, Gandis still has so much ERS left. So this is all down to pace and potentially even tyre usage, as we will see now. The tyre usage is that they are all kind of on the same boat here. This is where we will start Josh Rose starting to drop off in performance in the next few laps because of him being on those soft tyre compounds. And he does have, we get a check on him, about 17% of DRS. Do you see everyone starting to cause a bit of a gap for themselves now? As we do go on board now with Specky Cabbage trying to get closer and closer to Don Fotherington for position. Don Fotherington, as we say his name, gets another 3-second time penalty. He's going to hope we don't see another safety car, as we do see there is a caution in sector 3. Not sure what that is. It's not a safety car to my knowledge just yet. There is a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits for Mean Moody. That is a hefty safety, oh well, not safety car, a hefty penalty, and they're going to hope that there isn't another safety car to bunch up the field again, but it's still too close for them to lose, to not lose any positions. It seems the Red Bull lets Specky Cabbage go. I assume that's probably a strategic move there from Don Fotherington. He's not trying to lose he's not trying to lose as many positions as he would if he kept fighting and defending for this position, and he has the risk of losing his tyre wear as much as he is. And on top of that as well, his ERS as well, something to take in consideration. He's probably going to start harvesting his ERS going on to the final 27 laps of the race. Maybe the next 10 or so laps he's got to just completely harvest his ERS as much as he can, and then try to bounce back and potentially take P3 or P1. You never know. You've got to be optimistic with this. With that, as he doesn't need to pit again, but he will most likely have to pit, otherwise his tyres are going to feel it going for it. As we see Josh Rhodes coming out of the pits just very recently, going for the hard tyres, probably going to go to the end. Not sure if that's the right decision or the wrong decision. There's not really any right or wrong just yet. We also see Brand going into the pit after having that 6-second gap. They're going for the soft tyres to finish the race, which is probably the strategy now, as he goes out in P10 after his quite big gap. He was leading by about 6.5 seconds, maybe 7, when I checked last. As this is starting to brew a battle for the lead here, Jackie Gabbana in that McLaren getting his fair share of pole position sitting time. As we do see, the tyre performance is still in favour of Alfie Hudson. Not by much, but Specky Cabbage behind him is still not very close on the tyre wear as well. As we do see another backmarker there, that seems to be William Talbot, who's just letting his AI just drive there. Pardon me, as we do see there is another yellow flag, sector 2. Not sure what that is for. It's still there, and I'm not sure where it is. I'm assuming it might be William Talbot's AI causing some issues going into sector 2. "13 laps, wait no, 23 laps left to go of this race." He is getting closer now to Jackie Gabbana. It's not going to be too close, but it's still quite close, if that makes sense. It's time to lose time now to Jackie Gabbana. I'm just going to do another ERS compare, because it's all down to this as well. This is a huge factor. He's still in DRS zone by about, barely about 4 thousandths of a second. He is using a lot more ERS though. Jackie Gabbana only having 4%, even now he's using all of his overtake now, 3%, 2% left, compared to, we do actually see another position change here. Specky Cabbage getting the inside line going into turn 1. He is going to get the move done for now. If there's going to be any sort of retaliation here from Alfie Hudson, yes there is. He's going to try look for any sort of line that he can take that's open. He's going to take any open door he can. Brand getting a 123.6 for the Aston Martin racing team on those soft compound of tyres there. That's going to be because he's on those newer and fresher set of compound of tyres, as he is. Jackie Gabbana just suddenly losing his pole position. Just for now, I feel like that is going to be the issue though. He just used all of his ERS, and he's now trying to think as we do see Finn's rejoin the session after I assume was a bit of a disconnect, and that's why his AI has been driving. Specky Cabbage now using a lot of his ERS, though, only having 8% left, which is definitely going to cause some sort of issue for him going further into the end of this race. But they are they're relatively close with each other. The range of both of these people's ERS is probably about, well, was about 5%, and now he is using all of his overtake, nearly flatlining it. In fact, he might flatline it. He is close to, he has flatlined all of his ERS there, so we do see Specky Cabbage has the advantage range by probably not much, 7% in ERS. The Balfour lead is anything but over. It does seem he's going to try flatline his ERS as well, going into the first few corners of Sector 1. However, we do see Gandis as well getting very, very close to the back of these three cars. So we do see what's happened there. The Williams going very, very wide there. It seems Nick F1 just being able to save his car from the wall there. But keeping it out is the most important. And 2 tenths between P1 and P2. Now this is where the DRS is going to help him out quite a bit. Between them both, barely any ERS for both of them. It does seem Jackie Cabana is going to try go for the inside line. Is it going to work for him though? So we go on board with Helicopter Camp. It isn't going to work for him. Specky Cab is just going for a roll there, just strolling the park, getting that move done because of the DRS assist that he had. But going further back as well, we do see Alfie Hudson getting very, very close with him indeed. 22 laps left of this race. Just trying to preserve my voice here, but we do see again this is getting very close to Alfie Hudson here. He's had quite an up and down race here, but keeping him on the podium steps for the time being. But this is not going to be the case for long, as we see Gandis trying to take this dream away from Alfie, as he has the ERS and the DRS going, just flying past now, going into turn 1, has the inside line as well, so he has every single advantage here, apart from the soft tyres, which is actually a disadvantage from now on, because he has the less performance compared to those medium tyres, because he's on 18 lap soft tyres compared to what Gandis is on is 18 laps medium tyres. There's still quite a big difference between tyre performance in both of them as we go further down P9. The Alfa Romeo goes side by side here with the Alfa Tauri. The role of the Alphas, you could say, it does seem it's going to be in Alfa Romeo's favour for now. If there's going to be any sort of retaliation here from Kevin in the Alfa Tauri, we'll have to find out. It seems he has, I think he has less ERS. Yes, he has less ERS, probably about double, you could say. The Alfa Romeo pretty much has every advantage here. He has fresher medium tyres compared to Kevin. He has more ERS, and he would have had the DRS as well, but it's not really applicable just yet. So we do see Sector 2, yellow flag, but off now, as I think a car just went a tiny bit wide. Welcome on in, Mr. Speed, to this quite, I'm going to say, uninteresting race. It's probably one of the more uninteresting races to watch. There's been one safety car, but a lot of these cars are getting quite separated now, you could say. You probably caught me in the worst act of me you could. I've got COVID. I've been on comms for 12 hours straight, so my voice is definitely starting to feel it, to say the least. But welcome on in. Hope you're all doing well on this fine Saturday evening. Don Farrington getting closer and closer though as well to the back of Alfie Hudson. Alfie Hudson's tyres are starting to fall off now, but Don Farrington's probably should as well, as he's on 19 laps old soft tyres. Exactly 20 laps left of this race now. Don Farrington still about 5/10 within P3, as we do see now. 1980s wildcard again. Another 3-second time penalty for multiple track warnings there. That is something we've seen probably, I don't think we've seen a single race without that sentence being applied on at least one driver. He has the DRS now, which is better for him. I'm not sure how he has the DRS, but he has the DRS. I'm assuming, yeah, no, I'm not sure how he's got the DRS there, but he has it, and we'll go with it. But Brant, I feel like this timing board's get a bit scuffed now, but it does seem the Mercedes getting closer and closer there to the back of the Alpine of Specky Cabbage. He's made a bit of a redemption arc for himself in the Mercedes of Gandis. He is about 6 tenths behind him. He has 37% ERS compared to what Specky Cabbage has of about 13 seconds ERS, 13 seconds, 13% ERS. So there's quite the difference between them both. And obviously, they're, from a tyre perspective, they probably got around, there's not really an advantage for any of them, but there is probably the mildest of advantages to Specky Cabbage, who probably has less than a lap to a lap of fresher tyres, you could say. But we do see Don Fotherington needs to pit soon. He is not going to be able to do 19-ish laps left on those soft tyres. So if he's just trying to brew for another safety car, that's probably something he's doing. But at the moment, there is probably no sign for a safety car to come at all, because no one's close enough to actually cause one, you say, and there's literally no way you can crash into a wall that easily. So they're going to go side by side here. Brand's trying to get these moves back done after his quite good start to this race. We see that Don Fotherington's tyre performance there has got about 60% wear on his front tyres. Definitely a track that you'll see higher front tyre wear compared to the back tyres. But we do see Brown going up into P3. He seems to be quite good right now. He has those very soft and very fresh tyres right now, with 48% ERS still left to try go for the end of the race. Now he is going to try go for P1. He's still got 2 seconds to try catch up, and I feel like he will be able to do that, and he is shaving time off as we speak. Shaved about 5/10 off going into the final few corners of Sector 1. Jackie Gambana unfortunately getting a 3-second time penalty. Now, where is he? He's down in P10 after being in P1 for some time. His teammate, on the other hand, currently in P5, trying to get closer and closer. Don Fotherington has to pit, though, so he might be net P4 thinking about it. We do see Jackie Gambana's excuse for being in P10 right now. He did pit 2 laps ago for a new set of medium tyres to see him to the end of the race, most likely. A few people that we expect to probably coming to the pit soon is definitely Don Fotherington, and potentially a few of the older medium tyre, so maybe P4, P5, 1, 2, and probably Kevin in the AlphaTauri in P8 right now. So those are the people we might expect to see pit in the next few laps or so, potentially for the soft tyres to try and get the fastest lap. But I reckon Don Fotherington's idea is to try and stall as much as he can and hope for another safety car. If not, go for the soft tyres and just try pledge for it. and that is probably coming to his final pit window actually to do so. But we do see now there is no sort of big battles starting to brew again. This is what happens when there hasn't been a safety car. But we do see Josh Rose all over the back of Kevin now. Not close enough just yet to try think of going for a move, but he is starting to get on that impatience barrier where he's close enough to try think of going for a risky move, but he's not close enough to make a safe move just yet. He's just going to have to try and stay in the slipstream, use his ERS as much as he can. As you can see, the ERS difference between them is quite mental. One using ERS, one not. He has actually drained his ERS system from doing that, and he has now this disadvantage compared to the Red Bull. He does seem, Kevin, in the AlphaTauri still has 32% compared to what we see the Red Bull of Josh Rose has about 8%. This is where we'll start to see fluctuations in the championship because of this. Josh Rose down in P8, P6 now. It seems a few have went in. Chocolate's gone in for the soft tyres. We see now Jackie Cabana going into P6. Josh Rose into P5. Brand P3. Nick F1 P4. This is so in chronological order. Swicky Cabbage in P2. Followed by Gandis in P1. If that's going to be like that for the rest of the race, no, it will definitely not. We do see these three drivers have been battling at it for quite some time here. It's all down to see how much people have actually harvested with the usage of the safety cars and just clean laps. And we do see Gandis has quite a bit more than Specky in terms of ERS, and probably, you could probably say now, tyres as well. It's Specky Cabbage mildly having the advantage, but Bran has pretty much the overall advantage. He has quite a bit of ERS. He also has those soft tyres, but he goes in to the pits to pit again. I'm assuming for soft tyres to try and go for the end. Is this the strategy, do we think? I'm not actually sure just yet. Going into the pits now, we do see him going in. Is he going to go for soft tyres? Yes, he is. He's got to try and get another fastest lap session. As we do see Nick F1 goes for soft tyres as well. So a few people going into the pits for the final time of this race. 15 laps left to go. Starting to see this drop off again, but we do see Specky Cabbage going into the pit. Same with Gandis. This is what I did expect to happen. We'll see everyone going on the fresh tyres to try and get this advantage point now. You'll expect everyone to probably be going on these soft tyres. We do see the Mercedes of Gandis. Is that going to be the same with Specky Foot? Does seem Specky does not get any sort of advantage in the pit. It does seem Gandis stays in P2 and Specky in, well, what was P3. Jackie Cabana back into P2 now. Nick F1 taking the lead of this race by over 6 seconds. If that's going to be the play, we'll have to see. Still has 20-ish%. Is it worth trying to gain and harvest a bit of ERS now instead of using it? So we do see Finn getting a 123.3. We'll start seeing the times go down now as a lot of people are on these newer age soft tyres. Trying to scare out if anyone there is another caution, sector 3. Hopefully that isn't going to be a safety car. I hope we just have a full-on enter the race now. It seems there is quite a long safety car. Well, it's for not safety car, caution there. It has cleared up now, so I assume someone went and spun, it seems, but there is another. There's a retirement from the session. Is that going to be a safety car? Well, this is what we'll have to find out in the next, well, I'm going to say 5 to 10 seconds. With only 14 laps left to go, he is unfortunately retired from the race. 1980s Wildcat. I'm going to assume it's not going to be a safety car because it's been quite a long yellow flag here. So I think it is. Yeah, it seems his AI is driving him, so I think he retired in pits, I believe. Oh my days, Nick F1 goes very loose going through a final corner or so of sector 1 as we see Mill SP 2002 driver we haven't seen too much, getting a 3-second time penalty. Seemed to have quite the boring race for himself there. Sometimes that's a good thing though. Sometimes you don't want the most overly crowded race because that can be quite tiring to say the least, and especially with a 100% race like this, it can definitely be not the greatest idea. I'm trying to be the hero of the race, but obviously it does make for some good commentating if you're not sick and haven't been on commentating for 12 hours. Three tenths now, brands all over the back of Jackie Gabbana. Now is Gabbana going to try and go for any sort of, if he isn't going to use a lot of his, he is actually going to use his ERS barely any though. He does have a lot more ERS though compared to Jackie Gabbana, so that is going to happen either way. Goes up into P2 and now has to try catch Nick F1 at any chance he can. Nick F1 doesn't have as much ERS compared to Brand, so in my opinion Brand might win this race. He is getting quite a bit of time now on Nick F1 in the Williams. In fact, he is gaining so much time. There's a 7 lap age difference between the two soft tyre users of P1 and P2. And this is probably going to be the battle of the end, you could say. He is gaining literally seconds per sector at the moment, as we do see going down into P7 now. All over the back of him as well. Specky Cabbage trying to get this move done on Josh Rhodes once and for all. He doesn't have too much ERS to actually get this move done, but it's not going to be the same with him. They both have around the same ERS range of each other. He is all over the back of him though. He actually bumps on the back of him now. Luckily there is no sort of reaction from the car that causes him to spin. He is going to go side by side. Josh Rhodes does have those hard tyres compared to Specky, who has those very new soft tyres, so he's in advantage here. Specky Cabbage, he also has the DRS and a very strong slipstream, which is going to cause him to get the side draft as well. Go in to start finish straight now. It isn't going to work for him just yet. He's going to try a late dive bomb him. Yes, he is. He has a bit of door rubbing there. There's no doors on this, so you can say tyre rubbing between the two cars, and it has caused Specky Cabbage to go up from now into P5. If there's going to be any sort of retaliation from Josh Rhodes, we're not just sure just yet. Going back into P3 though, we do see that is the complete opposite. Again, this is trying to retaliate back on Jackie Gabbana to try get P2 back. However, we do see Brand up into the leads. All of a sudden, it seems Nick F1 went into the pits for the soft tyres, so that was quite an easy and short going there for Brand. $11 laps now left of this race, getting closer to those single digit numbers. There's actually another position to change. Specky Cabbage getting up on Alfie Hudson, Brandt's teammate, who are doing quite well in the championship for this race. P1 and P5, quite decent points for them. Mercedes only have a one driver in the points so far, which is a bit unfortunate, but obviously what is different about this league is every driver gets points if you complete the race, so it isn't like normal F1 rules. Going down to P9 though, the other McLaren getting closer, but it's not close enough just yet for him to try think of going for a move. I say it a lot because it's always true though. You can never know how close you can be to actually start making moves that are actually safe, because there's just so much going on to actually comprehend that you just don't know. A lot of these drivers are on wheel, so that is also going to make a bit more precision for these drivers compared to what you do see. There are a few controller players. I'm not sure if there's any controller plates in this. There's going to be a few people who race on Logitech wheel, Thrustmasters. Then you get the higher end stuff like Fanatec, SimCube and stuff like that. SimMagic as well, that's starting to make a bit of a redemption after they kind of died a bit in the technology world, and they've just made some quite nice products I'm going to buy soon, hopefully. Seems now Chocolate gets the DRS going into straight, gains a lot of time there, and Finn, it's not going to be enough time. Nick F1 now again a 122.8 on those soft tires for the Williams racing car, so he is getting faster there. As we do see, the Williams is currently down in P10, trying to fight as many positions as he can with 9 laps to go. Oh, we do see Don Fotherington going side by side once again here with his teammate of Josh Rose to actually take the position. If there's going to be any sort of retaliation here from Josh Rose, that is something to be a complete and whole new story here. It isn't going to be that just yet, and it seems so Don Fotherington has actually made the move done once and for all. There's already a 6/10 gap between them both. He will solve the DRS. Not sure if he will keep it till the end of the lap when we see the DRS actually being able to be used. If anyone's still in chat, thank you for staying with this very, very eventful stream, to say the least. As we are coming closer to the end of this race now, getting closer to the 50 mark of laps. I salute you guys for staying in chat or lurking or whatever you're doing. I know there's a few drivers that actually race and just listen to the stream at the same time, so if you're doing that, you're doing good. That's my motivation for you lot. Keep pushing, innit? In fact, it's how British I am. I still say in it. I'm gonna get absolutely mugged for saying that now, I bet. We see the McLaren now getting closer and closer to Finn, going through the final few corners. Don Fotherington getting a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings there, unfortunately for him, and it's the same with Mean Man Moody as well. Mean Moody, sorry. All over the back of him now. It's actually going to be close between these two drivers. Been under probably quite a bit of pressure to try and keep ahead. There's only about 7 or 8 laps left to go for these two drivers. Looking from an ERS perspective, as it changes pretty much all the time, it's still in favour of Chocolate. Chocolate also has the DRS, gets it done even before the entry to turn 1, and he actually gains a lot more time here on the Red Bull as well. He uses quite a bit of his ERS. If that's the play, we'll have to find out. And now all over the back of Josh Rose, who's actually starting to lose performance here. Is the hard tires the actual play? Probably not. But he is still in P7, potentially going to lose it here to for Chocolate for P8 and potentially even P9, because we also see if they battle too long, it's actually we just see a clean overtake there. I'm not sure if there's a bit of a nudging ground there from Chocolate that caused Josh to go wide. I'm not too sure, but now this has led to the Alfa Romeo to be all over the back of him. He's actually going to go side by side going into the inside line now of turn 5. He isn't going to get the move done straight away, but he is going to go side by side with Josh Rose for P9 as well. Can he lose 2 positions in the span of the last lap? Yes, you can, but is it going to happen? That's the question. Josh Rose put all of his almighty to try to defend this car, but is it's actually worth it? Because by doing this, you can see Nick F1 on those very, very fresh tyres as well, catching up as well, now about 1.7 seconds or so to Finn, and now he has a DRS, so this is where the move will happen. He isn't defending it, so he's probably going to just let him by, because there's not really much you can do, but he isn't going to go very quickly there, as he is up into P8 for now. Joshua is down to P9, so quite an interesting battle there, to say the least. It actually lasted a bit longer than I thought. It would be 6 laps left to go. Don Farrington in P6, all over the back of the Aston Martin of Alfie Hudson here for P5. Starting to lose these positions now. They're on similar age tyres, but in terms of ERS, that's one thing we'll find out. They're very close as well, so this is a very even balance. We see a late lunge there from Alfie Hudson. If that's actually going to work, I'm not sure, but it seems Don Farrington stays in P6 and Alfie Hudson in P5. We actually do see what seems to be Josh Rose going into the pits, I believe, for some new tyres. Actually, no, that's not. That is Jackie Cabana going into the pits, potentially for soft tyres to try and get the fastest lappers. We do see now Josh Rose getting the DRS on Alfie Hudson to try and get this Don Farrington, getting this move done as quickly as he can going into turn 1. Getting closer to the end of this race than ever now. P1 and P2 split by 3 tenths between each other, as we can see. P8 as well, 10th between them. Nick F1 trying to get these moves done as quickly as he can to try gain these positions they lost by going into the pits about 6 laps ago. Don Farrington getting a 3-second time penalty there, unfortunately for him. So we go on to the final 5 or 4 laps of this race now. An even number, to say the least, and there's still quite a few penalties there, which are quite recent ones as well. So that's also going to provide quite some interesting results if people can't keep up with each other. But it seems the places where they are in the bottom field, they seem to be quite spread out between each other. However, the top field, that's a different story. They're all very close with each other, trying to get these positions done as quickly as they can, or trying to defend as much as they can. I also do apologise once again. If I do go quiet at times, my voice is starting to feel it, to say the least. You could probably hear it in my voice. It's starting to feel a bit strained, my vocal cords. That is completely normal by now. I've been doing some absolutely mental amount of hours on Saturday commentary. I will definitely be here for next race, to my knowledge. So nothing to worry about in terms of commentary. But we do see there's actually a flat line there from the Williams in ERS, but he is getting a big pain spit out here as he's trying to fight here with Finn for P7. This is starting to get rowdy between all these 4 and 5. It was just a tiny bit of a mistake there, as we could see from Chocolate, which actually cost him now 2 positions as he actually makes contact between each other, and that's going to cause him a lot of a time loss between them both. And we do see Chocolate gets back his position. That is probably illegal to overtake in the first place. Nick F1 making a bit of a mistake there, which caused him seconds compared to the other cars in front, and that's going to put a lot less stress there on Finn, Don and Alfie for the rest of this race now. So we get closer and closer to the penultimate lap of this race. In fact, we are now on the penultimate lap of the race, going on board with the leader. Two laps left to go now, and we are starting to see a breakout in positions. However, we do see Williams' Jackie Cabana has retired from the session. If that is something to do with manual retirement, or if that's going to cause a safety car to the end of the race, we're not sure just yet. I hope it's not a safety car, but we do see now Nick is getting all over the back of the other McLaren of Chocolate for the rest of this. One lap left to go. This is where we're going to start seeing a lot of people getting rowdy, very rowdy indeed, to try and get these positions taken care of, because they do not take care of themselves. We do see there's going to be a side-by-side here for the final lap of the race, as it does seem now Finn goes up into P4, and what seems to be Alfie Hudson going down into P5. Is that going to be some sort of retaliation now from these two cars? I'm not too sure just yet. We do see as well what seems to be Don Forrington, as we also see another car, not sure what happened there, just spun out there. But we do see these 3 cars going very close with each other. We're going to start seeing flatlining of ERS now, going on to the final 2 laps of this race. I thought this was the final lap. My bad. But we do see all of these 3-4 cars getting very close with each other now. It's going to be very tricky to see if they can actually manage their ERS while still being fast for the final 2 laps of this race left to go. Bran, on the other hand, has a lot to go with, going on to the final lap of this race now for him. Can he try and hold back Gandis for the final lap of this race? He will have the slipstream and the DRS Gandis going on to it. He does go straight for the inside line, but he actually goes back to take the racing line and try to break the slipstream tiny bit. It seems it is going to work. Is there going to be a lunge though from Gandis? No, that is not. He stays behind for the time being, as we do see now in terms of ERS. It is going to be in favour of Brand, but it's very little to pretty much none between them both. And we do see now on board with Gandis, who is looking to take pole position for round 5. However, Brand is doing a good job of trying to defend his position of pole. He's absolutely nailed most of this race now. He has one more lap to actually be able to do this, and we do see him nailing it going into the final parts of sector 2 now. In fact, these two don't have any penalties, so everything's on the line here. So it's all just absolute fair. This is not the time where you want to get a penalty for track cuts, so they're probably playing it pretty easy right now between them both, but I think Brandon's going to be able to take it here going through the final few corners now. He still has a lot more ERS compared to him, as they both have a very concerning fuel warning there, but hopefully they have enough to go across the line. As we do see now a bit of an oversteer moment there, but we do see now Brand coming across the line to take the win here for tonight. Very well done there for Brand, followed there by Gandis in P2, going P1 and P2, as then we do see Specky Cabbage taking P3. Very well done to him, followed by Finn, not crossing the line just yet, and we do see another 3 cars as well, maybe trying to go side by side with each other. Yes, they are. Is they going to be across the line with each other? They are going to go across the line, and it seems Chocolate gets it just on the exit there. That was actually pretty mental, as we see Kevin there in the AlphaTauri going across the final corner to take home P9 for him, and AlphaTauri for P5. Championships definitely starting to fluctuate a tiny bit with today's race. It's been quite the an ordinary race, to say the least, in both ways. Obviously, for a bit of context, there was a bit of a delay towards the start of the race, and there was a server change as well. That's why we are exiting the race and finishing at 11 p.m. British time here. So nothing that to blame the admins for at all. It's all something, so be nice to them. Obviously, it's just something that happens time to time. It's just natural stuff that happens now, unfortunately, with games like this. But now we do see going into Finn having the driver of the day. Without a doubt, he did quite a good job, but all of these drivers did quite a good job. And I also liked how well Brandon was actually able to do stuff here tonight, as this is going to be the end of the stream, and I have been Aces, the commentator for both ACC and ACC Pro Am on Thursdays, coming back on the 19th of April, so get yourself signed up for that if you haven't, if you're on ACC PC. And I have also been the F1 100% commentator as well, going on to, well, season 10 I think this is now. But what we do see now coming up is round 6. What I believe, as we can check, is the Netherlands on the 30th of March. I have been Aces / Alex, your commentator, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and good night.